Good morning. My name is Karen Kong, and welcome to my This or That Thursday. I'm at the Stampin' Up! Demonstrator in Ottawa, Ontario, Canada, and today we're making a card. I usually post 2 cards in my group on Facebook and ask all of you guys to vote for me to tell me which card to make on Thursdays. And this is the card we're making today. It's a really easy fun fold card. It just opens up like this, and the front flap drops down. So super easy, and uses up your designer series paper, because I know that we're all holding that stash, and we need to use it. Okay, so just give me a second. I'm just going to get my computer up and running so that I can see your comments when we're crafting. If you are joining me live, I would love to see comments, questions. Keep me company while I'm crafting because it's more fun together. Here we go. All right, my computer set up. I am going to move the phone over to my desktop, and so you can see what I'm doing. Just close your eyes while I set this up. Okay. Here we go. All right, so here's the card, and here's the designer series paper pack that I pulled it from. It's the 2024 to 2026 In Color designer series paper. It's been a while since I pulled that out, and I thought this was a great opportunity to use it because the Pick a Season stamp set that I'm using today is a freebie in the Sale-a-bration promotion that's going on right now until the end of February, and it doesn't come with any corresponding what's the word? Coordinating DSP. It's by itself. So I thought it was great to mix and match with the In Color DSP. So that's what we're using today, and I have an idea to use this, try this again with the shamrocks in the stamp set, but that I'll have to do afterwards. I was thinking maybe I could do it for the live, but let's go ahead with the Easter theme. Good morning, Tara. Good morning, Sandra. Thanks for joining me. Okay, so let me make some room and we will get started. So it's a really easy card to make. I'm pretty sure I have made this fun fold before with a different set, but it's nice to pull it out again because it is super easy to make. Okay, I'm gonna make some room, and we'll bring in my paper trimmer so we can cut all our cardstock to size. If you're watching for the first time, you're catching the replay or whatever, I do always post my measurements and my supply list in the video description, so don't worry about writing everything down. I will post that afterwards. Okay, so first thing I'm going to cut is oh, you know what, I have this piece. Okay, so the Granny Apple Green, it's just a card mat, so it's not the part that folds. So this back piece is already cut because I had half a piece left over. Good morning, Connie, thanks for joining. So this is a 5.5 by 4.25 piece. So I already have that half left over from the first card I made. Now this next piece I'm going to cut is Petunia Pop. Okay. Oh, I wonder if I have Petunia Pop. I just ordered that in my last order because I had relied on the, let me just pull that out. I have the In Color mixed pack, but it looks like, you know, I've used up a whole bunch of it. Let me see if I have, I should have another piece. I think I have one whole piece left, and that was it. Yeah, Sandra, I totally agree. Apples really would have been the better choice. I'm not sure if the shamrocks will come to use very often, but apples would definitely have been useful. Okay, so this piece here, the Petunia Pop, is 4 by 8.5. Okay, so let's put this aside. So I'm going to take my 8.5 by 11. I'm just going to cut off the bottom section that I need. Okay, so it's 4 inches, and we will just measure to the 4-inch mark on the paper trimmer. Okay, and I'm going to score it at halfway, which is 4 1/4. Let me just double check that. Oh, good thing I checked. That is not 4 1/4. We want this scored at 5 1/4. 5 1/4. Good thing I double checked that. But this is reality crafting. Mistakes happen. And yesterday, I think I cut this too small. I forgot that I needed this flap part, and I just cut the back piece. So I had wasted that section of paper. I couldn't use it for this card. Okay, so 5 1/4 is where I'm going to score at. Okay. Now the DSP here is 3 3/4 by 5. So let's cut 3 3/4 from this. Let me just check what's on the back. Yeah, I think I'll cut it this way. 3 3/4 by 5. Okay, and this front section here is 3 3/4 by 3, and I have that already cut because it was the other half of the strip I cut for this piece. So I only need that. Okay, so for the second card base, this little inside card, that is 3 by 8 1/2. So let me grab my Granny Apple Green. What did I say? 3 by 8 1/2. Okay. 3 by 8 1/2, and I'm going to score this one at the halfway mark. This one is scored at 4 1/4. Okay, and the last two pieces we need are the white for stamping on the front and for stamping inside and writing. Okay, so those pieces are 2 3/4 by 4. So I think, let me just double check which side is the 8 1/2 by 11 side. Okay, sorry, the 8 1/2 inch side, that's what I meant. Okay, so that's the 8 1/2 inch side, so I'm going to cut this way, and we will cut 2 3/4 off. 2 3/4, and then we'll cut the 4 inches from this strip because we need 2 of them. So let's cut 4 inches here and 4 inches here. And just a tip, I always like to cut towards the guides so that it always pushes the paper towards the guides, so you don't end up accidentally pulling your paper away and getting a crooked cut. So I always cut that way, and if I'm at the bottom, I will cut this way. Okay, so there's our 2 pieces. Let's put this away, and we'll assemble just the backings and all the DSP, and we'll get those out of the way. So let's score. We'll fold along the score line here. I'm just going to take my bone folder and make that crease nice and flat. Okay, so this is going to go right on top. You're just going to center it and adhere it. So use whatever adhesive is your favorite. I'm going to use glue. It gives me a little bit of play when I go to put it down. If it isn't quite straight, I can move it. But really, it's just total preference. Some days I just use my stamp and seal, and that's fine too. I switch between the two as I feel like. Okay, so when I adhere this, I always put it at a 45-degree angle to the paper while I kind of center it and make sure that my spacing is correct on my top, bottom, and side as best as I can. And then when I put it down, I don't press, and that gives me time to adjust if I see that it's crooked. Okay, so here I'm going to open it up and I'll put the DSP inside. So again, I'm going to use some glue. This is a really easy card if you're a beginner. This is a really easy fun fold, and it looks impressive, right? Because other people don't know how you made it, but it really is easy. Okay, so I put it down at a 45-degree angle to give me time to look at the spacing and adjust. Okay, and then I'm going to close it up and I'll put the DSP on the outside. I'm still busy making cards for my family this past couple weeks. So it was my husband's birthday late January. My son's birthday was just this past Monday, and today is my twin niece's birthday. So happy birthday to Caitlin and Victoria. I hope they have a great day today, but I made special cards for all of them. And I realized that after I sent off the cards in the mail that I didn't take pictures of them, so that's unfortunate. Okay, so let's go ahead and put this one together. I'm going to fold this one. And I always just make sure that the corners line up. Even though I've scored it, it can sometimes fold over a slightly crooked if you're not careful. So I always make sure my corners line up before I burnish that fold. Okay, so this is going to go right in the middle of this back, okay? And it will just line up nicely with closing. All right, so I think I'm actually going to wait until I have stamped. Or you could just put it on right now. That is fine too, okay? You can do it either way. It doesn't make a difference, but I'm going to put them aside while I do the stamping. All right, so for this card, I used Granny Apple Green for all the greens. The only thing is that for the leaves here, I felt that Full Strength was too dark. So I actually did Stamp Off to get a lighter shade. So if you've never done that before, I'll show you how to do that. I'll show you what I was playing around with. I did do Full Strength here, and I used a variety of different colors for the eggs, but I ultimately decided that I liked it with just one color for the egg. And the eggs are not actually Petunia Pop. I used Fresh Freesia because it's very, very similar. It's like a lighter version of Petunia Pop. So in this particular tree, I think the Petunia Pop is here. That's actually Berry Bliss, I think. I can't remember. I know I played around with Berry Bliss. It was really, really similar when you stamped them, but when they dried, you could tell the difference between the not Berry Bliss. That's Blackberry Bliss. I'm talking about Berry Burst. That's the other one. Yes, so Berry Burst and Petunia Pop are darker, and they look very similar when stamped. I believe this is the Petunia Pop, and this is Fresh Freesia. Okay, so I decided that for this card, I liked having the Fresh Freesia better. So let's go ahead and stamp. Okay, I have, where did my stamp go? I have the tree already mounted. Let's get out the trunk and the eggs. So I'm putting them stamped side down on my desktop, and I will pick them up with my blocks. Oops. And this should fit on this block. All right. Oh, thanks, Connie. Yeah, I just wasn't sure if I liked, I don't know, I felt the dark green was too much. So I ended up going with the light green. So I'm just going to get some scrap paper over here so that I can stamp off. Okay, and we'll get out some Granny Apple Green. Oh, and that is Reality Crafting. I just dropped it right on there. All right, let me just grab a chamois and we'll clean that off my desktop. And we'll use the back. All good. Okay. I'm just going to smooth the edges out because this is the back side of the paper. I do notice that there is a slight ridge along the edge, the cutting edge. So I'm just going to smooth it out. Okay. I'm actually going to save this for the inside, so I can see a slight bit of green here. I don't think it's a big deal, but I'm just going to use the other white piece for the front. Okay. Okay, so like I said, I'm going to stamp off. So if you know, if you've tried that before, all it is that you're going to stamp the full strength ink, the very first stamp. I'm just inking up, and I'm going to stamp on a piece of scrap paper first. Okay, I can see it's darker here. I'm going to ink up again and make sure that this section is also inked up properly. So I actually refreshed the ink pad with re-inking ink. I don't know, am I using the right words here? I added more ink, but sometimes it doesn't spread out evenly. I think I used like a card to a straight edge of a credit card, an old credit card, to smooth out all the ink and spread it over the ink pad. But I still feel like maybe some sections have a bit more ink, and then maybe that's why the stamp is getting darker in some sections, but I'm not sure. I'm not sure if it's the surface of the, okay, so I'm going to stamp once here, and actually the bottom of the tree is over here, so I'm going to turn it around, and we'll stamp now on the paper. There. See, it's a lighter green instead of the dark green, so that's why I stamped off first, so that I get a paler version, and I think it matched better with the fresh freesia. Yeah, thank goodness I had laminated this sheet. This was actually, that was your idea, Tara, to laminate this, because my grid paper, when I was using just the plain paper by itself, it was getting torn up after week after week after week. It would just get torn up and the edges would get kind of rolled up. So I actually got it laminated, and I'm pretty sure you're the one who gave me that idea. And it protects it. And now when I do something silly like drop my ink pad upside down, I can just wipe it off. So very handy to have this grid paper to line things up. Okay, so fresh freesia. I'm just going to do the trunk of the tree first. I really like this tree trunk. I like the lines that they put into the stamp. And again, I re-inked this. Can you see where I put the lines of ink? And I tried to spread those out too. I don't think I did as good of a job, but let's do this. Okay, so I'm just going to stamp the tree trunk. There we go. And now I'm going to do the eggs. Let me move that. and we'll do the eggs. I kind of move the eggs around and just kind of see how they position within each spot to see where they fit best so that they don't cover up any of the leaves. Okay, I think it'll fit like this over here. Oops, I didn't press hard enough on one section. That's okay. And this is a real advantage when you have clear stamps and clear blocks. You can actually position where you're going to stamp. I could never have done this with the old-fashioned wood stamps that we used to use. It's pretty good. All right, so I got the sentiment "Thinking of You This Easter" from the Heartfelt Hellos. This was a Sale-a-bration freebie from last year. I think it's the only Easter stamp I have, but so it was perfect because I don't think I had ever used the stamp before. So I'm just going to pick it up and I'm going to visually check it because this is a red stamp, a red rubber stamp. I won't be able to see exactly if this is straight, so what I do is I check visually to see if this looks straight on the back of the stamp, and I line it up with the bottom edge of the stamp, okay? So I can actually use my grid paper to help me visually check it. So if my stamp is lined up with the bottom edge of my stamp, that will help me decide where to line it up on the paper. Because I will not look at the sticker to guide me. I'm going to look at the bottom edge. Yeah, I hadn't used all of the stamps yet in that stamp set, but it is pretty versatile. It covers Mother's Day, Father's Day, Valentine's Day. All right, this is Blackberry Bliss. I wanted something darker to stand out for the sentiment. Okay, I'm just visually checking that I inked up the whole thing, and I can see a little bit more on the top. Okay, so now I'm going to line this up. This is lined up here, and I'm going to use the bottom edge of my block to guide me as to where to line it up to be straight. There we go. That turned out pretty good. Okay, so there's the front done, and I'm going to take the other piece. Where did it go? And I stamped the edge of this, the very corner, with a little with the other stamps, with the fence, and I put a little egg hiding behind the fence. Okay, so let's get out the Granny Apple Green again. And I'm going to clean off the little egg stamps, and we'll put them away so that I can replace it with the little fence. These stamps are like really tiny, and it's really handy having like a really small block. It makes it easier to control the pressure that I'm using and not rock the stamp by accident. Okay. So we'll do the fence first. And again, I actually stamped off, so those are light green. So I'm going to stamp off first before I stamp it onto the actual bottom of the cardstock. Okay, there. Okay. The grass, I'm actually going to use full strength for the grass. I think that that gives a little bit of depth. Okay. All right. So full strength for the grass. There we go. I was just thinking, I think I stamped the eggs first on my first card. That's okay. So what I'm going to do for the eggs, so I can get a little partial image, is I'm just going to take a scrap piece of paper and cover up that fence. So there's all kinds of masking techniques, but because this is like a straight edge here, it's very easy to just use a straight edge to cover that. And I'm just going to I'm just grabbing some scrap from my recycling, okay? And I'm just going to cover it up right to the edge here. And we will stamp right behind there. So, and then this egg will look like it's peeking out from behind the fence. So let's put it like this. Okay, so now it looks like it's just peeking out from behind the fence. And that's pretty much it for the stamping. I will go ahead and finish assembly. Okay, so let's put this on the inside. I'm not too sure how many people send out Easter cards, but I assume somebody does because they have these Easter eggs here. Does anybody send out Easter cards? I don't normally. And this one will go straight on the front. I'm just centering them and then putting them down. And even like the St. Patrick's Day, I mean, like, I'm not Irish, so I wouldn't normally use them, but I'm sure there's something else I could use them for. And that's what part of my challenge was to myself, was to try and figure out if I could use these some other way. And I was having a hard time. You know, some days you just, creativity is just not there. You're just in a bit of a creative rut sometimes. Okay. Oh, Tara says she sends Easter cards. Really? That's fun. Okay, so now we're just down to the final assembly. So this is your little mini card, and you're just going to open this up and center it on the inside, and we'll just adhere the back of that. Okay, so I'm just going to center this. And that is it. So all you have to do is open it up, put the bottom flap inside, and that is the card. Look at how fast that was to put together. Once you've got the DSP picked out and your colors picked out, I really think that was the only hard part, was trying to decide, you know, which colors to use and which DSP to use. And, you know, the generic patterns in the In Color DSP pack works perfectly for this. And I think I'm going to make a St. Patrick's Day version of this with the clovers, just for fun, and we will see what that comes to. So I hope that you enjoyed that, and you will be inspired to try this out. It's super easy. Yes, Connie, I don't use Pinterest often. I use Pinterest actually for recipes a lot, but I don't use it for card making for some reason. But yeah, I always start scrolling through other samples and what other people have done to kind of get the juices flowing. So yeah, so have fun with that, and make some cards, and have fun with it, and hope you have a great week. I will see you guys next week. Bye.